but and I have healthy snacks. So, hey, Jean. Well, maybe we'll just put these ones here. I did grab some of the oil. It's really good. How are you? I'm sorry, I had like patients right up to there.
No, it's totally fine. It's fine or something. Yes, yeah, not too much of the overhead.
No. Some people know how many people are going to have in small group, but I love the fact that we Zoom it, so we'll record it, send it out.
Oh, great.
And then you're welcome to have the link. And if you can like leave any handouts, and we can reach
Yes, yeah. And I'll send you PDF versions too.
Yeah, okay. So we usually sit up in the front, and I don't know where Sally is. So, all right. But we'll go ahead and we'll get started. There will be. Right here with me.
Perfect.
You can have me. And you are welcome. You are welcome to grab something to drink. I have, if you want to drink and enjoy. So I have pumpkin seeds. Priscilla in the front gave me some pumpkins. Pumpkin seeds are full of magnesium, which are really good for helping the body. I have two teas. This tea here, smell it. This tea here is passion flower with hibiscus and hawthorn berry. This is really good for the heart, but it also stops rumination. This one is rose, holy basil, and lavender to help relax your body. So you're welcome, and then there's some fresh open water up there. And Sal's got some yummy foods too. We got some grapes, apples, and some pistachios. So really great food to help with the body. Yeah, please help yourself. You can do it now if you want to. That way we have it while we're talking.
I did bring some samples.
Right. And we can, I have it here so it would be on the video.
Yeah.
But I'll video too. But we can move around. So I'm going to talk to Spike, and then I'm going to stand in my little chair.
Oh,
Okay.
Unexpected, 46. Yeah, not a big individual. So we were all.
Sorry, Jean, we'll get started in just a moment. People are grabbing some drinks.
Yeah, we will. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Oh, we do have.
I just put the napkins down because I thought we just had this tea, so I wasn't sure. The dark one is lavender and rose. Passion fruit, hibiscus, and hawthorn berry. Imagine it's good for you.
Oh, sure.
Tastes good, no sugar.
And it's so good. I can get this.
I grow these at my house. These are the herbs I grow at my house.
Oh, really?
Yes, I tell you, I practice what I. Yes.
I'm gonna try this.
Yeah.
You know, the way you talk about it.
All right. Well, while you're getting food, we're gonna go ahead and we will just get started because I want to be through. We got Jean on our Zoom and we are recording this, so we'll be able to share this if there's somebody else in your life that you feel needs this. Did you want to do the welcome, Sally?
Sure, just want to welcome everybody on Zoom.
Come in the middle.
Hi, Francis.
Good to see you. I'm good, thank you.
Good morning and welcome. Vessel Health is offering a great free event today. It's our, it's our monthly event, but it may be our last educational event of the year. So this is a great one to take advantage of. And we have a special guest speaker. Kyra is here from Zymogen, whole scripts, and she's going to talk about the supplement relation to stress relief and combating that. This is a great event because actually there's a lot to this. This is a precursor to a stress reduction class that Denise is going to host. And this is going to give you a nice head start and savings for that 6-week course, which I think everybody's excited about. So again, I'm Sally. I didn't ever say that. Sorry, Sally with Vessel Health. I think you all know me. And I'm happy to have you all here. So we'll get started.
Nice,
Thank
nice.
you.
I'm gonna have you introduce yourself. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Kyra. I am with Zymogen and Whole Scripts. So I am a supplement representative. I do everything from functional medicine consulting, business consulting. My main focus though is ultimately helping patients and helping people understand kind of personalized medicine for themselves. And I always promote lifestyle and food, being the first changes that people make, but sometimes supplements should kind of get you an extra step. Just an example is magnesium. Magnesium, females are supposed to get around 320 milligrams a day, males 420, and we're supposed to get that in food. So sometimes, especially the American diet, that just doesn't happen. So supplements are a good way to kind of level up, get optimization rather than just your daily value.
Nice. We also have a special guest in our audience who is one of our lifestyle consultants. And so we're going to bring Ayana up so you can introduce yourself. I did get that email. Well, actually, I read what you had shared and it fits perfectly.
Okay.
So please introduce yourself. And you introduce them to everyone, even though we're Zooming also.
Hi, I'm Catherine Ayano Nixon. I go by Ayano, and I just started teaching yoga here. Some of you may have been in classes with me, but I'm also a personal trainer, and I have a background in, NASM, personal training, in the gym stuff. And, but mostly over the years, I've gone into mind body stuff. So I have certifications in Pilates and yoga, and I've taught Tai Chi for like 30 plus years, pretty consistently. So if you need some personal training to help you with stress management, I can help you with that. I would be focusing mostly on your inner health. And of course, we'll do exercises and assess the way you use your body in stressful situations, or especially de-stress situations. So what you like to do. And so I think that's really all I have to say.
And so we're hoping that come January, that we're going to be able to open up that resource to you, that Ayana will be able to do these private sessions, and we're looking at bringing Tai Chi to the regular schedule.
That's cool.
Yes.
Excited
about that.
What time
of schedule up?
Yeah.
Up front, if anybody needs to know.
Amazing. So looking forward to working with you.
All right.
Thank you.
So I'm Denise, and I am the coordinator of the lifestyle team. And I wanted to talk about stress because we all know that we're stressed, but it's become the new normal, right? Because everybody's stressed. We think, oh, that's just what life is. And it's not. We don't want to live under stress, because when we are feeling this stress, it affects our health. It exaggerates the health concerns that we are experiencing, and it can actually create some concerns in the body. So I'm going to share a little bit about what that looks like. Are we doing okay? So I have this little diagram here to kind of talk about stress. And I think you can see this at home too. Probably there's not much of a glare. So we have this capacity to hold on to a certain amount of stress. It's an allostatic threshold, right? And so all of us have a different capacity of what we can hold. And when I was young, I grew up with this game called Don't Spill the Beans. And you put a bean in, right? And you put a bean in until that pot was so full, and that last bean spilled the pot over. that last V was not what caused this whole experience. It's all of it building up, but we think it was that last thing. And it could have been something like COVID, right? It could have been something like a car accident. It could have been different things. And so when we look at stress in our life, we have to look at how are we filling that bucket? And often we think of stress of work, right? The boss is demanding so much from me. We think that stress is the kids wanting to borrow the car or wanting money, but stress can come to us in many different ways. And all of that stress fills this bucket up. So it could be work, but it also could be toxins. So look at what is happening in your environment, right? If you're living under a flight path and you're constantly breathing air that's polluted and you don't have an air filter, that could be filling up your bucket. If you have deodorants that have chemicals in them, or you're plugging those fragrances into the walls, that could be filling your bucket up. Maybe you have some family issues, right? Many of us are at that age that we're taking care of our elder parents. That can fill our bucket up, right? Because that's really demanding on us. Or if you're younger and you have children or you have relationships. Sleep is a big one. In our society, we don't prioritize sleep. We could say we know that sleep is important, but it's the last thing we do. We'll stay up late because we didn't have any me time. We just want a few moments to ourselves. We'll stay up late because we're binging on Netflix. Sleep is when our body repairs. Sleep is when we empty this bucket. And so if we're not sleeping, this bucket continues to go up. Now, each of us have our genetics. And so your bucket size might be based on your genes. Maybe you have some financial woes that are causing stress. COVID, right? RSV, these illnesses stress our body. So not only do we have the stress, am I going to get sick? It's having to be worried about germs, having to wear the mask, but actually getting the illness is stressful on our body. Foods that you are eating. So it's funny because I had this up during Sit Strong, and one of the gentlemen that was working out with us said that his wife ran out of food when she was a youth. And food is stressful because it was something that they didn't readily have. Now, when I put food down here, I put food down here because I was worried about non-organic foods, foods that are genetically modified, foods that have toxins in them. I was worried about that toxic load or the foods that are not healthy, feeding our body. But he was having, when he saw it, he thought about that message that we have about food. That could be stressful. When I first went vegan or vegetarian or trying to be healthy, I'm afraid to eat anything now, right? And so just going out to eat with my family or my friends is stressful. So that could be affecting us. Life is affecting us. So I also wanted to talk a little bit about ACEs and trauma. So we know that stress can come into us all these different ways. How much we can handle could be dependent on our genes and how much we're able to hold, but also ACEs. So ACEs is adverse childhood events. So if as a child you had trauma in your life, your bucket here could be about this big. Right? Now, how much trauma can fit inside her?
Oh, not much.
Right? So now, because of these past experiences, or maybe your family had trauma, if they were part of the Holocaust, right? If they experienced that, if they were, my dad was in was in Vietnam, right? And so there's these different experiences that we might have inherited from our parents, which is affecting our allostatic threshold also. And so we have to take all of this into consideration. So some people might be able to get away with eating foods that aren't good. They might get away with not sleeping as much because their bucket is much bigger. But depending on your genetic makeup, depending on your past experiences, your bucket might be a lot smaller. So we're going to be talking about a class that's coming up in January. And in this class, we're going to go over all of this. We're going to look at the foods that we're eating. Today, I made foods that help calm the nervous system. And so we'll be looking at those types of foods. We're also going to be looking at the lifestyle practices and what lifestyle practices help us to empty this bucket. We're also going to be looking at finding the toxins in our environment and what we can do instead. And then we'll also learn different practices that help to empty the bucket, such as breath or meditation, qigong, different ways that we can create a bigger bucket for ourselves. And so it's a great class. These are skills that we all need, whether it's for you or someone in your family that might need these skills, because stress is going to be there, right? We all have family, we all have money woes, we all have toxins in our environment. And so the more we learn, the more we can manage this and take care of our health. Now, we were really excited to have Kyra here because with all of these practices, we still aren't perfect, right? We try to eat healthy, or if our bucket is so small that every little thing spills our beans, then we might need some support to help get us there. And so we don't want to say only lifestyle, right? We want to do lifestyle practices. We want to eat healthy, and we want to take everything we can to create that bigger threshold so that we're not feeling so stressed. I shared this story that I had learned on a podcast, and I never made that connection. But when you see someone and they cut you off and now you're afraid like to say or yell at them because they may like pull out a gun, it's that last beam, right? The fact that they cut you off or you cut them off, that wasn't what was causing them to be so stressed. But their buckets are so full, they're overreacting for simple things. If you find yourself overreacting for something that you know is easy, like someone cutting line in front of you, or someone got that, now we're Christmas shopping, that last red sweater, right? And we blow up, we know that our bucket is full. And so we see that in other people quite often, right? We see people overreacting, and it's because they haven't learned to balance stress in their life. And we're just that last beam, we just happen to be there. So, all right, so I'm excited to hear what Kyra has to share with us because we all need this support.
Yeah. And like I kind of said before, I always promote lifestyle changes, dietary changes, things like that to get the fuel that you actually need within the body. We want to eat full, hearty meals that are full of vegetables, not focused on processed foods, things like that. And that's where you're going to get a lot of vitamins and minerals from. Oftentimes, you'll see on this front sheet, I'm going to start here, and we'll send this out. I have a PDF form that Denise can send out after to all your Zoom people as well. But this first page here, the Y activated vitamins. So if we're just talking about taking supplements in general, that's a pretty accepted thing nowadays, right? It's like, we know magnesium. I mean, most people know magnesium, vitamin D, things like that, which is awesome. Just acknowledging that we might want to implement that into our practice, and we can go a little bit further as to what specific supplements might be beneficial to you. I wanted to touch first just on quality of supplements. So why activated vitamins? So with all the vitamins that you have here in Vessel and with Zymogen, let's think about B12, B6, B9. There are genetic SNPs in your genes that can cause it to basically cause your body to not process these properly. So I just learned about the other day something called Morton's toe, and if your second toe is longer than your first toe, you oftentimes can't process those B vitamins properly. Like, you're not going to break them down. I know. It's like most of the population. Yeah, it's methylation. Yeah, so activated vitamins, it's really methylated vitamins. They are just basically, it kind of breaks it down. I know, everyone look at their toes. So I mean, there's genetic SNPs outside of the toe isn't always the deciding factor. I just think that's interesting. So I'm like, oh, my mom does not methylate B vitamins properly. Wow. So methylated vitamins are kind of going to take that extra step of the vitamins that are in your supplement. So they're going to be easier absorbed. There's that genetic SNP, it kind of bypasses that. So the most bioavailable version of the vitamin so that you're easily absorbing it in the body. if you were to go to Whole Foods, for example, oftentimes people hear these vitamins they want to take and they're like, okay, awesome. They look for like the cheapest one, which is fine. You know, you're like, you don't want to spend $1 million on supplements. I totally understand. But when you go buy this multi, or you go buy this vitamin D or anything with B6 at like Whole Foods, for example, those are not going to be methylated vitamins. So if you have that genetic SNP or that long toe, you might not even be absorbing them at all. So I think quality of supplements is just really important to pay attention to. I'm all about, you know, trying to find the cheapest way to do things. I'm a thrift girl, you know, except for when it comes to supplements, knowing what is actually going into them, knowing that they're actually bioavailable, that you're actually going to be absorbing them in the body, or you're not just wasting that the $11 compared to the $24, you know, is a huge thing. So activated vitamins, all of our B6, B12s are going to be methylated. So they're actually going to, I mean, we use methylated vitamins for pretty much everything within the body, but even just brain health. Something that I always say is it a deficiency, or are you actually depressed? In no way am I discounting depression. I've struggled, my whole family has struggled at some point. But I look back to before we knew about taking supplements and things like that, vitamin D deficiency can mimic depression. So I think about even young people, I mean, anyone that's not good at getting outside. There are ways to get vitamin D within food. We just don't break it down and absorb it nearly the same as we would from sunlight. And if you think about, even if you're the most active person, in the winter, we're just definitely inside more. So finding
And we
steps.
were also taught to cover up.
Exactly.
So,
Right, and I'm all about SPF, but you know, getting that sunlight, early morning exposure, things like that, is going to help you. But oftentimes, I mean, these are testable things. Vitamin D deficiency is an easy blood test to do, you know, and then you are on vitamin D for a couple of months and you're like, man, I'm feeling better. I don't feel so sad all the time. And maybe that's just, you know, the extra step that you need so that you can be actually treated for depression too. You know, when people are depressed or stressed, or, you know, you get to a certain level where you can't do anything, basically. Everything feels like too much. And if you could do something as simple as, okay, let me just start taking vitamin D and magnesium, you know, let's just start there. And oftentimes we have, you know, powder forms, so it's like a delicious pick-me-up drink. But the vitamin D and activated vitamins are super important. So we'll go into the why chelated minerals. So they're basically organic molecules for us, amino acids attached to the mineral. So it's basically increasing absorption. So minerals within supplements, it goes back to quality of materials. Oftentimes, you know, we know magnesium, or at least we've heard of it. Magnesium is for over 300 enzymatic functions within the body. So if you look back at the sleep function, you know, if you're really deficient in magnesium, it could affect your sleep. You know, taking an Epsom bath, I think that's awesome. That's magnesium. But if you're looking at supplements and the quality of them, there's different types of supplements too, or different types of magnesium. So if you were to go to your local grocery store and buy a magnesium, oftentimes it's citrate or malate or a cheap version of magnesium. And you're not, I mean, it might help you some. I'm not discounting that it won't help you at all, but the different forms are going to be important for what you're trying to accomplish. So like glycinate or L-threonate is an awesome one for brain health. We have that here. I have some samples for you guys on the way out too, or to take home with you. I have little baggies. I know I try to bring everything back in. I know. That way you're getting, I mean, our magnesium L-threonate crosses the blood-brain barrier. So everything from PTSD to insomnia to amyloid plaque in Alzheimer's patients, you know, it's taking off a little bit of stress load, because maybe you just need some extra assistance sleeping. You know, maybe that will help you take a couple of beans out of the jar so you're able to manage the day-to-day stress that we all are going to, you know, you can't really avoid the stress.
It's here.
I want to touch on adrenal glands and cortisol. So are we all familiar with our adrenal glands? What they are, what they do, a little bit. We've heard of them.
Never heard to hear it again.
Yeah, absolutely. So our adrenal glands are pretty much the most overworked thing in our body, especially when it comes to stress. There are little glands on top of each kidney, and they release our stress hormones. So things like adrenaline and cortisol. It is needed for if you were to be out on a run and someone started chasing you, you want those hormones to be released so that you're able to manage the stressful situation. You're able to get out of there quickly. You're able to hear things, better. When we are so stressed, when our little beans are dripping over.
I love how you're matching mine.
I know. I love analogies. Okay. What was that? No, I was like, when we don't need those cortisol and the adrenaline, we don't need those hormones to be released all of the time. But when we're in our constant state of stress, those adrenal glands are working overdrive. Those adrenal glands are not on the outside with eyes. They can't tell what is actually the stressful situation and that you're not in danger. So if you're constantly in this heightened state, those adrenals are just gonna be work. And then oftentimes when you are at this heightened stress level for a very long period of time, they'll almost stop working. They'll get really, really sluggish. I know.
It's kind of like, oh.
Yes, they're having a hard time. So your cortisol is another test that you can take, a saliva test. You can test those, see those throughout the day. You're supposed to get a spike in the morning to help you get out of bed, things like that. But your cortisol will be all messed up if your adrenals are running really high, or if they get finally to that really exhausted, sluggish state, you won't be able to get out of bed in the morning because you're not getting that cortisol. And I think everyone has probably struggled with adrenal issues in our lives. It's something that you don't even know is probably happening within the body, but the adrenals are like, we're running, the bear is chasing us. And
But it's not, it's
exactly.
it's the food, or it's the
Exactly.
fragrance, or
Exactly. So it's like I said, they don't have eyes, so they can't decipher what is really happening. They just think we must protect you by releasing these hormones because you're in a danger state right now. So with lifestyle changes, but also with supplements can help you assist those adrenal glands as well. We'll get a little bit into those in a second. The last thing is going to be why cortisol matters. So kind of just piggybacking off of the adrenal glands, it is our built-in alarm system. So we adapt to stress that way. It is going to change energy levels. So if we're constantly in that heightened state, it's because the cortisol is keeping us like, but when the adrenals stop working and we stop producing as much cortisol, we're just in that really dull, maybe really tired, super fatigued, can't get out of bed state. So it's understanding cortisol and using it as a tool. We're all going to have that, and we want cortisol. It's kind of like inflammation. We do want that first phase of inflammation because it's protecting whatever happened within the body. We want that cortisol so that when we ever say we were chased by a bear, I went camping this weekend, it's like, oh, I hope there's not any bears, but I was not chased by a bear. So hopefully I was in this more relaxed state rather than the heightened state. And cortisol is going to also affect circadian rhythm, but metabolism as well. So oftentimes, we often see weight gain outside of food. You could be eating your normal food, but with all of this heightened stress or your bucket being completely full, weight gain is often goes hand in hand with it too. And that's oftentimes, that you could be, I have heard all sorts of healthy people gaining weight because they're not sleeping because they're so stressed, or they wake up a million times a night, or they go back to sleep and wake up and maybe they're not always in REM sleep, maybe they're not even making it to REM sleep. So just understanding why supplements, the true purpose in taking them is going to assist your body to, get out of some of these states, or help you with mineral or vitamin deficiencies that can inhibit you from getting out of these states as well. Like I said, deficiency in vitamin D, magnesium, over 300 enzymatic functions. I think it's crazy. So even just us talking right now is affected by magnesium. So getting a quality magnesium in. What are you gonna say? Okay. So I have some supplements that are suggestions. I mean, there are truly a million. It will depend on the person, and I think supplements we're at a state of technology and knowledge and education that these types of things can be very, very personalized. You might be eating a lot of nuts and getting enough magnesium throughout your day to not need to supplement with magnesium. Over half the population is deficient in magnesium, so, and that's just being tested. So I would say maybe magnesium, vitamin D. I started this off with formulas for everyone, because these are formulas that we could probably all benefit from, that it's hard to get with dietary, even the best sort of diet, whether you're vegan or keto or whatever it may be. So the D3 5000 or the K2 D3 5000, and I know that we have that here as well. This is going to help everything from bones to those same symptoms of mimicking depression. So I put both in there because K2 helps with D3 absorption in the body, but it can be a contraindication for patients with CHF or heart issues. It's not a one size fits all. So D3 5000 is great for patients with heart issues. I mean, that's a lot of America and the general public. But if you're the type of person that maybe doesn't have those heart issues or CHF or not quite at that level, taking the K2 with it as well is just going to increase absorption in any sort of way that we can help ourselves, you know. The Optimag Neuro. This is one of my favorite supplements ever. We have this here, and I know that this is the capsule form. We have it in a powder form too. I wanted to be able to give you some samples of these. I love the powder. One, I'm the type of person that loves a dopamine hit. So I love like a little, I love a little pick-me-up drink, you know. I call it a delicious drink. But it's berry or lemon lime, and it's awesome for kids too. So, you know, kids that are hyperactive or having a hard time sleeping, maybe the parents don't know much about the diet changes that need to happen. It's a great option for, it's kind of a blanket for kind of everyone, whether you're the person that's like, oh, I need a delicious drink to make my morning better. And this is going to help with sleep, with muscles, I mean, overall relaxation. I take mine in the morning. It won't make you sleepy or anything like that. Taking magnesium will help you sleep, whether you take it in the morning or at night. I do love to, you know, add an Epsom bath in there. That's magnesium as well. Yes.
So for children, would you recommend that anytime then, in the morning or in the evening?
Yeah, in the morning or in the evening. I mean, it won't make you sleepy. It's going to assist all of those enzymatic functions.
And Epsom baths for children too?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Epsom baths are amazing. So have you heard of the float tanks? You know, like the relaxation float tanks?
Yeah.
That's just a ton of Epsom salt. And Epsom salt is magnesium salt. So any sort of, you know, this specific one, oh no, you're fine. I know the daily value, and this is 48%, so it's not even your full daily value. I hope, you know, you can get the other 52% with the Epsom salt bath and some food as well. But I do, while I'm just sidebar, I want to touch on the daily value in supplement facts. So when it comes to minerals and vitamins, when we look at the supplement facts, and it's like, oh, 48%, like I only need to get 52% to be good. That 100% is actually so that you're not deficient.
Yes. It's bare minimum.
Yeah, so you're not optimizing, you know, your general health by taking extra magnesium. You know, you're usually just getting yourself to that threshold of not being deficient daily. So I think that's very important to touch on because no one's really ever taught that. Like to optimize things, or say you were actually dealing with insomnia or high levels of stress, there are times where I'll do it in the morning and at night, even though I know I eat very healthy, just because I need that extra little assistance to optimize that. Yes.
So how much would you recommend for children, like say between the ages of 4 and 8?
So
4-year-old.
This is where it gets sticky in my position. You need to go to a provider, like someone like Denise can help you with it. I can't make suggestions when it comes to kids like too. I would say
And it depends on their weight.
Yes.
It depends on their activity level too, because they might burn more and so they might need more. But magnesium is generally regarded as safe. It is not something that we worry about accumulating. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's some, I mean, vitamin D will be a little different in
Yes,
children.
because it's a hormone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I always think when we're giving supplements to children, it's awesome to talk to Denise, your provider, you know, just run it by them quickly. But magnesium, and things like, other supplements that are safe for children. We have children supplements as well, like a probiotic. We have chewable multis for kids too. It's not a gummy, so there's like less cavity worries and things like that. Yeah, so chewables, but magnesium in the powder form, like she said, is generally safe. I will let you all talk about that though, because I just can't give.
And it has kind of a fizzy, right?
Yeah, when you
So they
first do
kinda
it, it is kind of fizzy. If you let it sit though, it's fine, but it is a little, I had someone try it the other day in her water bottle and she had it in there for like 10 minutes. Oh yeah, and it exploded. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry about that. Yeah.
On the magnesium, I take this thing here at Neuromag, and I physically say, can you take that with warm water? You're supposed to keep it with cold water, does that matter?
So
Just mixing it up.
yeah, so warm is okay, never hot. Yeah, never hot. It might change the composition of it. I know that they suggest most of the powders and things too. I've had people ask about that before, and our medical director says warm, like slightly warm water is okay, but I wouldn't do hot water. Synovix Calm. We have a whole Synovix line. And I have some other supplements too. This is the one I wanted to focus on today. This has, I think 18% magnesium. It does have magnesium in it, but it also is a proprietary blend of herbs as well, like botanicals, to assist in calming. So it's a neuromuscular relaxation support. And I'd like to mention that one. It's not necessarily a stress buster or healer or anything, but when we are constantly stressed and our bodies are almost like achy and sore, or maybe your shoulders are in your ears, you're like, man, how long have they been up there? I feel like I'm constantly like, oh wait, yeah, let me just bring it back down. And sometimes we don't have the time or the resources to get massages and things like that. I mean, I'm a big proponent of sauna, but this is awesome at night to bring those muscles into a relaxation state. So the little boost of magnesium is going to be great, but I think the calming aspects of those botanicals just is going to assist with muscular support. So I think that's almost another one for everyone, because whether it's sore because we're making those lifestyle changes and we're working out and our muscles are in just rough shape for the first couple of weeks, or you're in that heightened state where your body is just truly tensed up, and I still deal with that often. I constantly am like, okay, bring it back down. I'll tap myself in the shoulders. That is another great one just to use as a tool. And then Methyl Protect is going to be B vitamins that are all activated, that are going to assist those brain pathways. I mean, methylation pathways control a lot of things within our body, just basic functioning, basic thoughts. And having something like that to help in the event that you are unable to absorb B vitamins properly. So it's almost for everyone, and the only asterisk I have on that is if you're taking other multis or other B vitamins, like just being mindful of how much we're taking of certain things. Any questions on those kind of formulas for everyone?
I have a genetic thing about not converting methylfolate, methylene, whatever it's called.
Yes.
Our history. So I take methylfolate.
Yep.
And my vitamin B levels high.
Good.
It's like really, but and it was too high, but I've been doing that. Is there a level where it's like, shouldn't, you know what I'm saying? It's like, so traditional medical system, without taking it,
right.
They'll freak out on things and they don't understand even what that is.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, a perfect example is that in traditional medicine, they're still recommending D2, and that's just, it's just behind on times, right. When it comes to supplements, as far as absorption and what actually is being used within our body. The awesome thing about B vitamins, and I think that it's awesome that you know that about yourself. Most people don't even know if they methylate properly or not. So oftentimes this can help you just get out of that, constant foggy state, or your brain just not firing properly, basically. Like there's something not quite missing there. So, or not quite working there. So the awesome thing about B vitamins though, is we often excrete a lot of them as well. So oftentimes,
I didn't have a B.
no, it's okay. No, you're totally fine. I didn't have a sample of that one either. So oftentimes there'll be something like 18,000%, like in the methyl protect, a lot of the B vitamins and the folate, it's something like 18,000% or something of our daily value. But with those people that are not methylating properly, which is a good majority of the population, you're going to excrete the things that you don't need. So it will be high, but I think I'd rather see high B vitamins in labs, because that means you're actually getting the proper methylation, absorbing it properly. But I do think underneath a doctor, I especially in a more functional med or supplement friendly doctor, will be able to guide you of maybe what's too high. But I haven't seen that.
I've seen vitamin B also used to poke bowel regression.
Yes, I mean, a lot of those things, if you're not methylating my sister, I've never gotten tested, but I know my sister and mom both don't methylate properly, and so I'm gonna assume that they probably don't methylate properly either. I just have never gotten tested, because I'm like, well, I kind of already know, it's within the family. But even my sister, I mean, without giving too much of her information away, she has struggled so much with depression, anxiety, things like that. My mom's a holistic nutritionist, so you can imagine the butting of heads, where she's like, Mom, whatever, And then I come into this field, and then she's like, okay, maybe I'll take my B vitamins. And she is now coming off of like depression medication. I mean, like slowly, but with a combination of B vitamins, even fish oil. I mean, there's so many different things that are going to go along with just brain health and body health. I mean, I could obviously talk about something.
That's good.
Yeah. And then there are these specialized formulas. So I've kind of broken them down into different categories of like what kind of symptom you're feeling. So tired but wired would be like that constant fatigue state, but your adrenals are you're having that constant high of like, oh gosh, I'm running from the bear, but you're not really running from the bear. The tired and wired, but it's a really truly heightened state. You can't calm down, you can't sleep, insomnia, things like that. Tired, your fatigue is just going to be your main symptom. Those adrenal glands have really slowed down, sluggish, and you're not really able to do, a whole lot, or you're not inspired to do a whole lot, maybe. Tired and sick. Stress often leads to sickness. I mean, even around the holidays, things like that, whether it's an actual sickness that's putting stress into that bean bucket, or just family. I mean, all those things that can lead, whatever it might be for you. And then we end up coming down with a cold and things like that. Yeah. It's because your body's in that overdrive state, and it's taking resources from the rest of your body basically to keep it in that heightened state. And now you're getting sick. And then tired and depressed, which is going to be the lowest state of them all. Probably your adrenal glands are not working anymore. You're constantly in fatigue, and the depression is going to be really thick. So individually, these are different supplement suggestions, and I'm not going to go too deeply down all of these because there are quite a few in here, but it's kind of going to be a matching game here of what that looks like for you. So maybe, I understand supplements can be expensive. People have a hard time being like, what should I spend this or should I spend this? So maybe implementing like a couple of those things into your life, seeing how it helps. And then maybe you're working with Denise, or you're, trying to make those lifestyle changes, and you need that extra little push. Maybe you talk together and your adrenal glands are really struggling, or they're really working really hard. You need something like Adrenalive, which is going to be herbs and things like that to help support energy levels and antioxidant activity. So each individual supplement has a kind of breaking down of what it is and why it would match. So whether it be things like cortisol is a great one to take at night to keep those cortisol levels in check. But if you're not, making cortisol anymore because your body's adrenal glands are gone, you might need Care. It's finding the right one for you. That's when it becomes a little bit more tailored to what you need. And Zymogen, just touching base again, circling back to quality of supplements, we work with biotech companies all over the world. So everyone from like MIT, Johns Hopkins, to get the best patented ingredients. I mean, even the Optimag Neuro has a patented form. It's called Magtine of the L-threonate. And I believe that came from MIT. There's a lot of different, it came from MIT. And they basically are like we're getting the best quality ingredients for you all. So that way you're not wasting the money on the Whole Foods or whatever it may be. Albertson, is that the other grocery store down here? You know, and it's eventually you're going to be like wasting your money on those things, whether they have sugar or all sorts of bad ingredients. I mean, if you go to the store, there's like corn and soy in a lot of these ingredients as well. So if you're even just talking about inflammation or what affects you, we try to make it so that there's no allergens in it. Like everything is gluten-free, soy-free, dairy-free. But then we're also getting the highest quality ingredients that we can find in the market. So I think taking supplements is an awesome, great step, but knowing where it's coming from, the quality of supplements will actually make that lasting impact of what, you're doing the first awesome thing. It's wanting to take supplements and taking them. You're already making a big change in your life, just remembering to take it every day can be a lot.
Right.
And there's different options when it comes to things like that. We have high dose vitamin D. So like maybe just once a week, you manage to take the supplement, but I think overall, knowing the quality and why you're taking it is going to be a big impact on like longevity of taking the supplement, as well as understanding the big impacts and how it can affect the stress as well. But that's kind of all that I have. Do we have any? I could talk all day long about supplements, so you can ask me questions after too. I'm obviously very passionate about it because they've made a huge impact on my health as well. I come from an emergency medicine background, so quite stressful and this is much nicer and calm, and I think it's reaching I'd much rather help people do preventative things and help them get out of the hole, so that way I wasn't responding to you when you're in the hole and you can't get out of bed and things like that. And I have at the end we'll give out samples. I have some multivitamin samples too that are a fun little pick-me-up too, so we'll talk at the end as well.
Nice.
So I heard this saying and I really liked it. And whether you say supplement or a prescription, but you can't supplement your way out of a poor lifestyle.
Absolutely.
And so, but how? I mean, so when we look at this stress in our life, we know we should be making changes. But if you're tired and you can't make the changes, these are what help you move that direction, right? So we take a vitamin D and we start to feel better, or we do something like the magnesium and we're able to sleep and we feel better the next day. I'm more apt to work out because I had a good night's sleep, or I can, make better choices because my mind is clear. And so they work together as a great team to help you find that health. And one thing that when I came to work here, I was very anti-supplement because I really thought that you should be able to eat your health.
You can change a lot of things that way.
Yeah. But our food isn't the same quality.
Right.
And if you're working, it's super hard to cook every meal and to eat every meal at home and to get all those supplements inside just your food. It's really difficult. And so I find supplements being a great resource to help you find your health. As you get older, our stomach acid starts to diminish, or it's not as strong. So even the good food that we're eating, we're not assimilating. Now, if you're stress will start to dampen down that hydrochloric acid also. And so now we're not assimilating even more. And so it gets to be this cycle. And so supplements are that great way to just get us back on track. And if you're going to take a supplement, one of the things that Kyra had talked about is taking a quality one. And quality does cost more, but really it's like eating organic, true good food and eating food. You can spend less on that burger, but it's just empty calories. You're not getting anything. You pay more to get that nutritious meal, but all of it feeds you, right? So you pay a little bit more for a supplement, but all of it is feeding you. You're not getting that filler and all that other crap that is causing inflammation, like you said. So I think I've switched. I've drank the Kool-Aid and
you drank magnesium. I heard an analogy one time. A practitioner was telling me that she uses supplements as a tool for drowning people. If people are drowning, then they can't get their head above water, the supplements are going to come save them from drowning, but maybe it'll give them the straw so that they're able to breathe. So that way they're eventually able to save themselves. So it's giving that extra little tool to maybe get you out of the hole, whether it be stress, inflammation. I mean, a lot of these are all going hand in hand because our body is connected, mind, body, spirit. But it's giving you that straw. So you're like, okay, at least I can breathe and now I can keep swimming so that maybe I'm able to get to the surface.
So I want to go over the 6 weeks of the stress class so you guys can see if it's a good match for you. And I don't think I have these packed up. So let me give this to you and you can take a look at, I'm going to get one for you if I can just get this out. Thank you. Oh, thank you. So week 1, we're going to take a look at stress and what the science says about it. And we're also going to take a look at the vagus nerve. And so we want to make sure that we know how to activate that vagus nerve because that is what puts us into parasympathetic. And the body has been so activated that we think we're calm and we're still not calm. It's our new normal. It's just this fight and flight all the time. And so we want to take a look at what is happening inside the body. And in the second session, we're going to find surprising places where stress hides in our life. And you know a lot of them, but we're going to take a closer look and we'll create plans to help alleviate stress. So you'll get to leave with a really individualized plan on how you can start incorporating this into your daily practice. On week 3, we're going to do some exercises. So we're going to look at what are the practices that help you heal, that reduce stress, and also work at that mental fatigue and help to retrain the central nervous system. Because we have to practice, it's like a muscle. You know, you can't just do it once and think, okay, everything's better. We have to keep practicing, teaching the body how to relax, how to move into that calm state. In week 4, we're going to learn how food affects you, and we'll look at different foods that reduce anxiety, foods that increase anxiety. We'll take a look at adaptogens, and I didn't put it on here, but we'll definitely relook at some of these great supplements that we have. In week 5, we know that stress is going to always be in your life. So we have to work at reframing. How do we handle stress? We all can walk into the same experience, but we all perceive it differently. And that perception is actually your choice. And so we want to look at how are we perceiving situations and how can we shift it so that the body is not experiencing so much of that harmful effect of the stress. And then in week 6, we answer questions. We go back through all of it, anything that maybe we need to revisit, and we come up with a plan on what tools you want to incorporate into your life and how we're going to do that. So it's a great way to really start looking at stress and managing it. And it's a skill that we're not often taught. And so we need to learn it, and then we can model it for others too. And so that way, when that guy cuts you off or you cut them off, they don't pull a gun out and we don't.
It's scary, but
It's scary.
I think when you educate yourself, you're also able to help educate other people too. So if you know, like that stressful family member, or even, you know, like a kid or, you know, whatever it may be, you could be giving them impactful things as well. I feel like I cannot stop talking about it. I'm like, please take Relax Max. Like, oh my gosh, I'm giving all my friends supplements for Christmas. I'm serious.
I was gonna say that, and I have to plug it, because honestly, what you just went through, Denise, and of course, along with supplements, because that's kind of part of this whole reduction. What a great gift for
Yes.
Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
A great gift for Christmas. I'm like, could I get?
Especially the
now?
holiday season. I mean, whether you have a perfect family, which is awesome, for you. You know, it's going to be a stressful time. Whether it's you're missing someone from your family, or you can't be with family, or you're with all your family and you're like, it's
No, this is
great.
wonderful. Really wonderful.
Which is the one you mentioned, one in particular was right now.
Oh, the Relax Max.
Relax
Yeah.
Max.
Yes, it has 4 different ingredients. I do every morning, I do Relax Max and the Neuro in one drink together. They're both powders. And that's on there in the specialized formulas.
Oh, it is.
Yes, the specialized formulas, Relax Max, has everything from GABA, L-theanine, minoxidil.
And these supplements and herbs, a lot of them have to build up in the system. So some of them you take because you're feeling stress and it relaxes you. Some of them work on the central nervous system and on the body over time.
Right. I mean, some Relax Max is one. I always joke with my friends, like, instead of picking up that glass of wine, take the Relax Max. It's one that you can feel. The Synovix Calm, one that you can feel. Magnesium, it might help you sleep that night, but I think give it 2 months and you'll be like, oh man, my muscles aren't as nearly as sore as they normally are, or I'm sleeping much better. A lot of time, and vitamin D, I mean, a lot of times it's just like pharmaceuticals where it takes some time to see impacts from. There are some that are instant, and there are some that need a couple months to kind of get absorbed fully in the system for there to be impacts in the health.
I did want to share on another program that we're working on, but before we move on, are there any questions that you have for either myself or for Kyra on the stress class or anything to help you with reducing stress?
It's more on the supplements. I hear there's a few forms of magnesium, it's not just one.
Yes.
And is it important, like, how do you all determine which one to take? For
Yes.
what?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think working
Or
with
are they in all of them?
working with a provider will be a good kind of honing in on what you specifically need.
Okay.
For example, the 3 main that I think that people should focus on, there's magnesium citrate, which is going to assist with you could say detoxification, like bowel movements and things like that, which is important too.
Yes,
I didn't even put detox thing on here, but I mean, everyone should be having a bowel movement every day, just getting toxins out of your system. There's supplements for that as well, but magnesium citrate is going to help with that. But if you're looking for sleep, you don't need magnesium citrate, right? Glycinate is more muscle recovery and things like that. Magnesium L-threonate is going to be for the brain. This has a combination of 3 magnesiums in here, the Optimac Neuro. So the shining star is the L-threonate because it crosses the blood-brain barrier and it's going to make a difference in those brain functions and things like that. But it also has glycinate in there too, so you're getting like that full body sort of relief that comes with magnesium. So it does matter the form, and that's why, you know, like malate is often, I mean, there's different citrate and malate are the ones that I see the most whenever I always am picking up, you know, supplements in stores and just like seeing what's out there, whether they're professional supplements or some, you know, $4 brand that I'm like, what could be in here? And it's like a lot of times it's a proprietary blend of things. So if they say magnesium, there's
Step away.
It's like maybe there's magnesium in here. Yeah,
Step
so
away from any.
my gosh, I know it's so frustrating to me because it's like people that think they want to help themselves taking supplements and it's like, well, it's not even making a difference. So then they end up not taking them. So like, I didn't even see any difference. You know, I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it will matter the form. A lot of times it's same with vitamin D3. I mean, most of the times in professional supplements, it's usually a safe form, but
and omegas too, because omegas could be rancid. There's all kinds.
Yeah, our omega, which you all have as well, your main form of fish oil. This is good about science hole. Like I said, I'm just like an open book. Once we start, can't keep it quiet. It's called it's a monoglyceride form of fish oil, which means usually it's a triglyceride or an ethyl ester form. So different forms of omegas as well. Ours, it's a monoglyceride, so it's pre-digested enzymatically so that you're able to, you don't have to break down those fats. So you're not losing any in the pancreas or whatever it may be, having to break it down. Even people that don't have gallbladders or can't process fats properly can take this fish oil because you don't have to break it down. So, I mean, just know, it's like, you don't know what you don't know, but then you're like taking this fish oil. I mean, I struggled with acne so much. I was on Accutane 3 times growing up, which is horrific. I'm like looking back, like, who knew? Who let me do that? At like 11, I mean, anyway. And the monoglyceride form of our fish oil has made such a big impact. Now I'm like oily all the time. Like it's a different problem.
but if your body's having trouble breaking down these supplements, that's stress on the body too.
Absolutely.
That's the energy that's being used to process that when they did it for us.
Right.
So,
it's like making it, I mean, just trying to be the most bioavailable, easiest way that people can absorb it. As I mentioned, I always say this too, is like still family owned. It's been the same person that has owned it, and now that his kids are involved with it too. And I think that it will always be that way so that we have control over what's actually happening, because we're in it for the patients, for the impact, not the money. And so we're like, what's the best way we can get this into the body so that it's actually working? And that's, you know, why I'm passionate about the company too. It's like, I'm not just giving you some supplement, like, nice, I got to check, you know. That's not the case at all. It's like knowing what it is and how it's actually working, if it's working. If you're using all that any extra fuel that you have, trying to break it down or methylate or whatever it may be, it's the most bioavailable form all supplements.
Any other?
When was the company founded? How long has it been around?
Yeah. Zymogen opened in 2003, from Brian Blackburn. He actually came from another company called Metagenics. They're still a very relevant company, one of our competitors. They are no longer family owned. They've sold out over time. So even the type of minerals they use, it's like, for example, their multis, I don't like bashing other companies, but in comparison, their multis, like their B6s are not activated. So if you don't, it's like knowing the quality of supplements. So even if on the shelf, you're looking at all these professional supplement companies, Pure Encapsulations is owned by Nestle. So it's like, okay, like what is actually in it? Yeah. So we were started in 2003. We started from Metagenics because when Brian Blackburn Senior was at the beginning of Metagenics, he was like at the very start. That was lined up with his values, and as they sold out over time, he was like, "Man, I need to control this myself." So we've been around since 2003. We're based out of Orlando. We actually have. I'll bring some flyers in here. We have an event in Orlando in January. Our campus is like 400,000 square feet. We actually have a pharmacy as well. So we're the only supplement company in the US that has a pharmacy. So while our supplements are not FDA regulated, because no supplements are FDA regulated, our actual facility is by the FDA. So the quality, I mean, we manage everything from the humidity. I mean, it is absolutely amazing. There's YouTube if you don't want to go there, but
Can you sing when you make it? Like,
yeah, yeah, I'm like, yes. Yeah, I mean, that would definitely push it up on there. But I mean, our YouTube, they are not great about putting out tons of videos. But we do have our manufacturing videos, as well as our medical director, Dr. James Monroe. He is a wealth of knowledge. He's very prevalent on social media, and I mean, he's the sweetest, cutest, like, medical director you could have out there. He is so passionate and loves to help patients and is constantly answering my questions for people. And he's a good tool to have as well, just to follow. If you use Instagram, follow him, because it's like every couple of days he'll put out some fun information. You're like, well, I didn't even know that either. Yeah.
so we have been working together, and Kyra sent me this program that they've created. Many of us have heard of people using Ozempic to lose weight.
It's scary.
There's always side effects, right? Whenever we use a pharmaceutical like that, and it's cutting down the function of the body so that you lose weight, it's not.
Well, it was created for diabetes
I was
and
like,
diabetic
it's created for
patients.
diabetes. It wasn't even created for weight loss.
Yeah,
So this
it was
is-
just a
this is
buy,
already
right,
like,
buy,
this is
yeah.
right, this is something.
Yeah, yeah. But Zymogen has this great program using their great line to help people lose weight, which is comparable, if not better, than using Ozempic. We would do it in collaboration, where we would also practice lifestyle practices, because we want to ensure that our practices in life are supporting us in this step to lose weight. And so we're working on developing that program, which will come up in January or February also.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
New Year. I mean, that's what everyone.
Yeah,
It's the goal usually, but it's like the extra little assistance, and it follows. What I love about this particular program is there is a formula in there that follows the same pathways as metformin. So it's doing the same thing with glucose and insulin as metformin, controlling that. But there's everything from a probiotic that targets your hunger hormones. I mean, there's so many cool things, and it's following the same pathways that Ozempic is, without all the FDA, side effects and the
Black box.
I mean, yeah, it's truly a black box now. Like they're saying they're bowel paralysis. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then people get off of it and they gain all the weight back because there's no lifestyle changes. It completely erases, and then not even to mention the lack of vitamins and minerals that you're
Yes.
probably getting while you're on it. I could, yeah. I
Because
could go
whenever
there.
we're affecting our digestion, we're no longer assimilating all the nutrients. So, sorry.
No, so that is concerning. I'm glad you're doing this. So this makes me think about, not, I mean, obviously our patients, but we're not endocrinologists. here.
Right, absolutely.
So a lot of our patients who see us have possibly that, to deal with as well, is diabetes, right? Because a lot of times heart disease and diabetes are kind of hand in hand. So when these patients leave here and are doing their normal everyday life and care and seeing their other physicians, a lot of times they are seeing their endocrinologist who is prescribing this.
Right.
Or the other one, there's another one too, there's two.
Mounjaro.
Yes, yes. And then they get this, I know this personally, and I'm not even gonna mention names, but this came up over the weekend. That's why I'm just like,
Yeah, I know. I feel the same way.
yeah, so there's so much danger in it. And so the other one, that this person was on, they were on it, but it wasn't doing quite what the physician wanted them to do. Plus, it's pretty expensive. No matter, even if you have insurance, it's expensive. You're paying all this, difference, right? So since she went through that, what they do, they turned around and said, well, we're gonna put you on Ozempic now. So she's thinking, oh, great, oh, this is gonna be better, and maybe I'll just wait. That's the little caveat, that's like a plus, that's not even what it's for, right? And it's gonna cost me less. Well, it ended up costing her just as much. Okay, so she didn't save any money, and she had a reaction to it. So this is concerning because, and then I happened to see something too on national television about it that was pretty scary, that happened in the UK. And, yeah, it's awful what they're doing with medicines, and I'm sorry, but this is just.
But people
enough.
want to have the pill and maintain their lifestyle of eating unhealthy and
Right,
not
like quick
moving
fix.
their body.
There
Yeah.
is no magic pill.
No.
As soon as we come to realization of that, we don't live in Disney World or Disneyland. There is no way that those are gonna really happen. And it is a combination. I mean, it is a matter of like, how much do you care? You really do want to change whatever that is that's making you feel bad and also not look the way you want. Then there has to be some commitment to whatever that is, whether it be, a daily routine of walking or, like you're gonna talk about with, the different things you can do for stress relief and weight loss. There's just, it's not an easy magic pill. It's never gonna be that.
Right. And it's kind of advertised as that now.
I know.
Mhm.
Oh, it's
But-
all over everything.
Right. I mean, I
The commercial, you see what they're
I
eating.
can't see
right?
it.
She's like, I can't eat it.
It's stressing me out when I see it, I swear.
Absolutely.
But we do care here, right?
Oh, we
All
care.
of us care, and that's why we try not to support that.
Right.
And I mean, we also have, alongside that program that came out, is also a solution for people that are on the semaglutides. That's what they're called, as a
Right.
And it's more support for like muscle and collagen, because that's a huge diminishing effect in the semaglutides, people that are on semaglutides. So it's the assistance of like we have something called Polonex, which is going to assist bowel movements. It stimulates the bowels so that you have bowel movements at all or more often, and things that are going to support collagen and your liver and gallbladder, and the effects that are I mean, it sounds silly, but some people are committed to taking those things, and it's like, okay, well, at least let's offer the solution to
Right.
assist you, and then we'll have this other sort of program for when you come off of it, and now you can't control your hunger because something's not in you,
Yes.
turning off the hunger, and this can at least, if you took that step, you could take it afterwards, and it will give you the same sort of effects to control that weight gain.
I had heard that people were now not enjoying food, that it's affecting our enjoyment of food, and we don't want that to happen.
I know, I love food.
Yeah. Peptides then actually then are diminishing certain liver function.
Yes,
Oh, for the love.
I know. It's like all of these things that come out, but because
I did not
it's
know
so,
that.
I mean, there's so many celebrities advertising for it too. Even podcasts I listen to, I'm like, girl, like, please don't advertise this anymore. Because young females that probably listen to this podcast too, that are gonna mess up the rest of their lives maybe with the effects that come from it. We're all obviously very passionate about this.
I was
How
very
important is it that our physicians that we choose and have communicate and talk to one another?
Yeah.
Why on earth, this is one of my biggest things too, sorry. Not go on, but it's like becoming foreign for me. I just want to understand, that's a big part of it too, and maybe you as a patient need to make that happen. You have to advocate for yourself. So you have to say, Dr. So-and-so, I see Dr. So-and-so, and this is what I'm getting there. I don't know if you all, shared records and notes and whatever, but I'm seeing so-and-so because I happen to have this liver thing. I have Hep B, or I have whatever it is, so that affects my liver. So this person should know that.
But most of the drug testing wasn't
Crazy.
tested
in collaboration with other drug use.
Right.
So we don't know, and so they may not be able to tell you. Pharmacies are better. at-
Pharmacies are really good about that. That's true. So always get yourself a good pharmacist.
Sometimes.
If
Well,
it's
it's
changing busy. and-
because they're short-staffed and it's a
Yes.
mess. Yeah.
I just, yeah. I'm on this mission of healing too, that this is the whole thing, and we're in a kind of a poor state in our resources.
Yeah.
A lot of people retire early.
Yeah.
You can talk to 5 different thyroid doctors. I was talking to my acupuncturist about this because I'm dealing with yet another issue that I'm thinking I'm getting the right kind of help. And you'll get 5 different opinions. You know, and the
Yes.
thyroid is such a complex organ, it drives so many things. But it's the medical system itself. You know, I was a nurse for 30 years, you know, and we're not the way we train, there's no nutrition, and now with the managed care and all the different systems and incentives, I think we're at a breaking point in our system. We have
Absolutely.
got to do everything we can to advocate for ourselves and for people that are in the system that are struggling and can't advocate for themselves.
Absolutely.
Because if not, it's a dangerous situation.
Right.
That's the word I use, dangerous.
It
I
is
mean, I
dangerous.
totally think,
I'm
I
with you.
totally agree. I think, it's definitely a breaking point. And I mean, pharmaceuticals run the medical industry. Even
Yes.
I have a
Education.
practitioner, yes, I have a practitioner who, her son is going through med school right now, and she's a functional med doctor. He grew up that way, you know, and he was sharing with us the pharmaceutical, I mean, they're taught pharmaceuticals from day one, you know, it's like dietary supplements
Nutrition
and things
doesn't
like that.
come at all.
It's not the forefront of the conversation. And if it is, it's run by Nestle, or it's run, you know,
Yeah.
it's all sponsored by those
Yeah.
things. It's
Yeah.
so twisted, it seems like, but I think you're totally right, being an advocate for yourself and advocate for, I mean, since I've started doing this job, it's like I am constantly like, but let's try vitamin D first, or, you know, like, let's try something else. And I came from the emergency medical field, but I also was in the South. And that's like, I'm like the woo-woo girl now, you know, they're like, she's crazy. And I'm like, let me just give you magnesium and let's talk in 2 months, you know, but advocating and just, in the sense of education of maybe that person might think you're crazy, but they might keep that in their back pocket. They might say like, okay, maybe I'm not sleeping, or they might get to a point of desperation, which is unfortunate, but a point of desperation is oftentimes how people find functional medicine, you know, and
Right.
that's unfortunate, but at least it gets you to that point, and then you can advocate for others.
Right.
I was gonna say, talking about the thyroid, because you reminded me. I went to the doctor, you referred me to, I got my hormones checked, because I'm really worried about my whole body, so. Disintegrating, just separating my soul. I have a lot of stress in here.
Well,
Thank you so much.
I'm glad that you are here.
Well, I'm glad you guys share those kinds of things
Resources.
and resources and information, and that's what we're about. And then even as a practice, that's really something I want to say, you know, kudos to Dr. White and for Bessel Health for being cutting edge and for looking at, you know, the horizon and seeing that this was probably going to happen, and seeing that people were not necessarily getting better because he was seeing the same people on the table, you know, year after year after year. So that is why we're here. That is why Denise is here. This is why we have the providers we have, because, you know, we do have to, obviously cardiology, it is Western medicine practice, but we implement what we believe in, and that is prevention. So it is vital, it is important. We have Rihanna here doing movement and things that need to, you know, happen with bodies and stress and mind and that whole association, mind and body. We have people like Kyra here doing, you know, the supplement education and giving us more information and education as people who present and represent this office. So, you know, please share that with others too, you know, because I think there's a lot of people, and I'm concerned, there's a lot of people out there that are walking around with, you know, whether it be heart related or, you know, other things that they're going to end up somewhere. And I'd rather they end up someplace like this. So
Absolutely. I mean, Vessel's an amazing place because not only can you get the help that you need health wise, you know, just for that initial visit, whether it's cardiovascular, cardiologist
just
support.
figuring out, yeah.
But then all of these different, I mean, yoga here, that's absolutely amazing. It's like, I wish I looked closer so that I had a resource where it's like a kind of a one-stop shop. You can get those lifestyle changes. It's like, okay, maybe I get this diagnosis or I my doctor's telling me what's wrong with me, but it's like, then where do I go with this information?
Right.
And if you can kind of get it all in one place with trusted practitioners and trusted resources that, you know, are sharing those things with each other as well, it's pretty amazing. Yeah.
We want to empower you. to
Empower. That's a great word.
Yeah. I think doctors take that power away and give it to medication and. Yes.
Going back to the thyroid, but because I've gone through a lot of doctors and they check me for everything, I have my gallbladder. And then of course the stress is just, so I went to the doctor for the hormone because I'm worried about my bones. And I thought, maybe it's my hormones that are off, but everything, they checked everything. I went to an endocrinologist, so I stopped worrying about my stress. Stop, I'm just stop. I'm not gonna think about this anymore. I'm fine. And I go to the hormone because I'm thinking, they can help you with it. You know, you hear hearsay, you're like, maybe I should look into that. I went, got my labs, went back, and they said, you need thyroid medication. Your thyroid is very low. I go, yes, finally something figured me out.
Right. Explanation.
And something in my gut told me, you go take your doctor this lab. For some reason, a copy of this. And they were confused as to why I went in and to leave my doctor a copy of the lab. Because I asked for the original back order, the copy back. And she wrote it down, made notes, and she kept it, thank goodness. And then the next day, the nurse's assistant for my doctor called and says, the doctor says, do not take that medication. You will go into that heart condition, or if you start taking this medication for your low thyroid, angio something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have not picked it up. I'll call Walgreens. It's like, halt.
Yeah.
And I didn't pick it up
It's
yet.
scary.
So I'm like, what do I do? And I tried to call the office a few times. They haven't responded to me, but I never got the prescription.
We have thyroid support
I was just saying.
supplements, not on here.
Okay.
Just, I mean, I could like,
Yes.
Okay, we're fine. Sent lab work, the same thing that they did. You do not need thyroid medication. Your thyroid is fine. And she had their labs and her labs.
And these are both Western med docs?
Okay. It can be very hard for us as lay people to know what to
Yeah, we
believe,
don't.
right? And what to follow, and especially when it's so, controversial on what they believe. I'm sorry. I wish I had like the answer.
we have thyroid support. Without seeing your labs and things like that, that's something that I can't tell you will heal you or anything like that. MedCaps T3 is our thyroid support formula, specifically for thyroid support. But if we just talk about the thyroid in general, the thyroid uses iodine. And if you don't live near the ocean, or you're not eating like fresh fish from the ocean, things like that, oftentimes we're all very iodine deficient. Right. A good way to test at home for iodine deficiency is you can get iodine drop, like the liquid form, and you can put it on your skin, like make a little square on your skin and leave it on for 24 hours and see how quickly it disappears. The first time I did it, mine disappeared in like 4 hours. I was like, oh, okay. And so the thyroid uses iodine, but if it lacks iodine, it will use chlorine and fluoride just the same. It'll uptake chlorine and fluoride just the same. And we know that that is in most of our water, right? So if it's using fluoride and chlorine, what goodness, it's going to be using those instead of the iodine, which is deficient. So it will affect your whole thyroid system.
And fluoride is not a positive mineral to happen.
Right. Yeah, so that's just one thing. I mean, even just our water is poisoning us, like, God dang it.
And
But
we're all being told not to do salt, and table salt is iodine enriched, but we're not using it anymore. And it's not a good way to get it anyway. Sea vegetables are.
Right, yeah, sea vegetables are great too.
Seaweed. snacks are the best little snacks you can get.
Yes, I love the sweet snacks, yeah, and there's
They
like
really are.
CMOS gel, and
They're
I mean, there's all the different things, but, yeah, it's the, like, where do you find this information? You know, that's why doing things like this, so it's open discussion, so that you're like, okay, well, while we're here, let's just talk about this, because you don't, like I said before, you don't know what you don't know, and that is like killing people, you know, it's like, cause that
Literally
I
killing.
truly is, I mean, because it's not information that's just readily available, because pharmaceuticals control the medical industry a lot of the time, you know, like at the end of the day, it's about money, and that information is not going to come out, so they're protecting them, so they're like, oh, we got to keep them here with us and keep them coming back. It's a disease, you know, that world is a disease, and I don't discount, I think there is a time and a place for pharmaceuticals, obviously, but
And
But-
doctors care and
yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
they do care and they want to help.
But they don't know what they don't know either, because their
Right.
whole medical training was controlled by these things too. They think
Right.
they are helping, you know.
There's
Yeah.
also so much blowback.
Mhm.
Functionally, all these things that we become better advocates, we better consumers. The traditional old school medical paradigm, there's all this blowback against advocating for yourself.
Mhm.
And that's the part that hurts,
Mhm.
gets me upset.
Yeah, it's like you're not really
Yeah,
in
yeah.
control of, you know, what, like, the decisions are made or anything like that. You like have no say. Oh, like, do I actually need this surgery, or like, should I get a second opinion? Things like that, which is tough. It's like, who do I trust?
So because you attend it, you get $10 off if you sign up for the stress class. And so we have your name on the sign-in sheet. Some of these supplements we're not offering here yet, but we want to. And so if there's a supplement on there that really sounds like, I want this, let us know, because that's what we can.
And then we'll talk to the people in the powers that be that order.
Because I wanted to be part of the program. And if you also are interested in that weight loss program where you know people that might be, let us know too.
I'm gonna step out to my car really quick because I have the protocol. So
Okay.
you can just, I didn't
Yeah.
bring it in, but let me just grab it.
What's your question for her?
When does class start, at what time is it?
So we haven't set a time yet, so
Right.
it's gonna be in January. I was thinking either Tuesday or Thursday, like 3 o'clock, that's when
And
we've
this
done
is
it in
the
the
weight-
past. The stress one,
The stress one, okay, January.
but we're waiting to see who signs up, because then I can be flexible. It's on the flyer, it's 65.
It's gonna be
Oh,
$55.
$60. Passport members pay 60 and then you get $10 off for being here.
Right,
So it's 50?
Yeah,
yeah,
cheap
Wow.
class.
yeah, for 6
Really
weeks, that's less than $10 a song.
But the reason we're able to do this because we have a group, right? And so we want,
an hour every day or?
yeah.
I think that's really awesome.
I think
I wanna do it.
Yeah.
You,
And it brings a community, I'm all about community too. I mean,
when you make me leave, I can't do Thursdays.
I remember you
I
told me
can't
that,
do
yeah,
Thursday either,
okay,
not at 3.
okay. So
Is it gonna be at 3 o'clock?
I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
Those were my times that I was free, but
Right.
depending on who signs up, then I'll be flexible.
I just curious.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to be here when you're here. The only way it works.
That was, yeah.
so this is the weight management program that we're just calling it that. It's not like any, if you were to order this, it wouldn't come as like a weight management. It wouldn't say that because it's no claim. I can't claim that it's going to cause weight loss, but it does follow the same pathways of, things that are also being affected in Ozempic and Mounjaro and the semaglutides. But what I love about this program that we put together is that we put it in a med packs. So these are able to be saved as protocols, or you can make them if you're on specific supplements every single day. I highly suggest these as well, and any ones that you private label, they'd come as the same name in there. And
Yeah, we were gonna have it in our box.
yeah, you have the box too.
Right.
Yes. And yeah, this is just the whole scripts version, but they come in little, I mean, I know you guys do packs here, but
Yeah.
I want the people that haven't had them before, this is just so much easier than opening all the bottles, it's like
Right.
sometimes just doing
And then
that.
some run out, some you still have.
Exactly, like some are
And-
60 count, 120 count, some are 30 count. It's like, what is what? I also mentioned that it cuts down on plastic by 40%, which is something that is important to me. I've
Yeah,
been on
that's
the beach for
important.
like 15 years. And we partner with the Clean Seas program. And so using these packs, it's a specific type of plastic that is like special plastic for it. I don't know the name of it, but
So it breaks
More
down quicker.
biodegradable.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know the name of the plastic, but because of the type of plastic and because we're not using all of the plastic bottles that oftentimes don't get fully used or get left on the shelf and you order something new, it cuts down. It's a 30-day supply, and they're able to be managed, like this has an AM and PM packet, and it can be built. If you ever wanted to build your own, you can do that too with Vessel. You can have, if you want to have this plus your omega-3 in it, it's completely up to you. They can say your name on it. They can say, the protocol, the program that you're going to do. I live in Colorado, and I travel a lot for work, and the amount of supplements that I'm already toting around with me, it's like, I don't want to tote my own around as well. And it just makes my life so much easier, but
There's
you'll
something
have the little,
special about the berberine. I mean,
yeah, the berberine is, so berberine is great for a lot of different, there's antibacterial properties, a lot of different body functions that it's going to assist. But it also is going to help with glucose control. But this specific berberine is a dihydroberberine. So it's a different type of berberine in the sense that it's water soluble rather than fat soluble. So oftentimes when you take berberine, to get the right effects from it, you have to take it with food, with fat. And this you can take anytime. It's water soluble, and it's over 5 times more potent than just berberine alone. So
what's it do?
so let me read you the thing. It's a GLP-1 activation. So that's exactly what Ozempic and Mounjaro is doing. And so they don't preserve muscle, gastric inhibitory polypeptides. It basically is AMPK activation. So it's the mother of all fat burning enzymes. So it's going to assist in glucose and insulin control, like glucose control.
Wow.
But it's also, rather than just regular berberine, which is active for 4 hours, this berberine is active for 8 hours. So it's basically just like more potent than just berberine by itself. It just technology and things like that have increased. And so we know, like, there's more. Berberine is one of the highest studied supplements right now because of the effects that it has on glucose control and things like that, and the AMPK activation, fat burning enzymes. Pretty cool stuff. And then in here, there's also OptiFiberline, which is it's your full dose of fiber per day, but it also helps with that full feeling. So it's going to control those food cravings and things like that because you're feeling full and you don't need the constant popcorn at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's personal experience. The ProbioMaxline is a 1-strain probiotic that targets hunger hormones within the body. So it helps patients eat less than 300, not less than 300 calories per day. Eat 300 less calories per day. We don't want 300 calories per day. And then there's other things like cortisol. So those, like we're talking about the fat management when it comes to stress, like it's helping. Thank you so much. It was nice to meet you. It's helping calm those cortisol levels so that you are actually able to lose weight and things like that. There are other things you can add in here. We have other things like leptin manager if weight loss is stagnant or not decreasing, but it's pretty awesome. I had our old medical director, she owns a lab company now, Precision Point Labs. And she, and along with other practitioners that I work with actually on the West Coast, came up with this program. And I have a practitioner that's been using it. It's now been about a month or so since I met with her, but it had been, when I met with her, it had been 10 weeks since she started implementing this program. And she was seeing, I'm trying to remember, it was 8 weeks and it was like 30 pounds of weight loss in males. So, but she was also doing a program involved with lifestyle changes as well. So like we said, like the supplements are kind of giving you that straw, but it's not going to be the buoy, that gets you completely out. But if you can control things like your glucose and get those things under, help you kind of curb those cravings that go along with it, because we all know I work from home a lot too when I am home, like the Zoom and I like the popcorn in the afternoon. I'm like, oh my gosh, is it delicious? Turn it away. And so if I had something, taking the OptiFiberline helps me just feel full, which is like Ozempic in the way that Ozempic makes you not eat at all. So at least you're getting your fiber in and you're it's not going to make you not hungry at all. It gives you it's a capsule or a powder form. So if you were to put the the powder form in water, in about 15 minutes, it turns into this like gelatinous form. So that's like sitting in your stomach basically until you excrete it, which just helps you feel a little bit fuller. So you're not eating like nearly as much during the day. So control of the amount of calories and things like that. Of just the cravings. Yeah. But then you're also getting those 52 grams of fiber, which are we actually getting anyway? You know, even with supplements and good food and things like that. I mean, like I said, I travel often, so it's like when I travel, I'm like, I maybe ate a vegetable today, you know. So I think that it's awesome that you guys are going to do this weight management program.
Yeah, all right. Any other questions, or are we?
So if we want some of those Zymogen supplements, we can like order them here or?
Yeah, we'll be ordering them. First, you want to see if we have our own private label, and then if we're not ordering it now, then that's something that Sally and I will work on. But you are an employee here, so.
Yeah.
Yes, and I know some of the like the Neuromag you have in the capsule forms, the D. I know you have the ones that were the specialized forms. I don't remember seeing them.
No, not the stress ones, and that's what I was excited about. But I kind
very
of need to
excited
know who's gonna come and what those needs are. It makes it easier for us to order if we know ahead of time, so.
But I like, please take some of these. I mean, I'll leave.
Samples.
And 2 people left, but they asked me to get samples.
Yeah, I know. That's funny. They're like,
They all pulled me aside. They're
Yeah,
like,
I'll leave your video.
Oh, okay.
Like please take a couple of these and take them. I mean, you can take them during the day or whatever. I like to take them at night. Just because it gets me like my muscles in that relaxed state when I sleep. But I also have little baggies if you don't want magnesium now. I have little baggies that we can. This is
That
the
would be
powder.
nice, yeah. I like to drink it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the berry.
This is the berry one. I can hear mixture. The berry one's my favorite. Some people don't like the berry. I think it kind of depends how you like flavor things. There's no sugar or anything in it. There's also lemon lime. That's the one I'm working on at home currently, and it's more like a Gatorade lemon flavor. But I mean, it's truly made such a difference in just overall functioning. But this and the Relax Max together is my morning drink, and I suggested, you know, instead of reaching to the glass of wine, really reach for the Relax Max. But I am more controlling my heightened state during the day, so I'm Relax Max in the morning.
Yeah,
That's good.
Yeah.
That would make sense for me.
Yeah.
well, I love to do mocktails, and I'm wondering how you
Oh,
might
yeah.
be able
Oh
to
my gosh,
create
I can talk
like
about that too. Oh my gosh. Yes, yeah, with all the things that you do, but absolutely, you could do this. We also have on Zymogen. I mean, we have electrolytes as well, but Whole Scripts, which is our ordering portal. Have you guys heard of Element?
Yeah.
Electrolytes. We
Yeah.
have that wholesale on Whole Scripts.
Oh, I am always
nice.
trying to get people to take more
Yeah.
electrolytes because their hydration is low.
Absolutely. So, and you can sell them like in individual packets once you have them in here. So they're wholesale. So now they just came out with a
Is it
new
Element? It's actually
Element. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We have 100 other vetted brands on Whole Scripts. So we created an ordering portal that we vet the brands that are on there. So they're trusted brands, whether
Nice.
they're not like we have all of Zymogen is on there, but there's also 100 other brands that like magnesium spray is on there from another brand. And Element, which is electrolytes. It's absolutely amazing. It has a little bit of magnesium and potassium in there. It has about 1,000 grams of sodium, which sounds scary, but it's going to be especially for women. I mean, the first thing in the morning, I usually am taking Element. And they just came out with fun new flavors. They came out with a mango chili. And
you use them in mocktails. so
that's
they do that.
exactly, yeah, my mom has been doing, my mom though was not using it in mocktails, she's using it with tequila. She was making margaritas with Element. And she's like, at least I'm hydrating in it. And I'm like, well, do your thing. Do your thing.
Where does she live?
She lives in the Denver area.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah, it's so fun. I mean, I mean, the rest of my family just has to sit and listen to us talk like, magnesium. I'm like, okay, well.
Thank you. And I have one for Colette and one
Okay.
for Chris, and then one for me.
Thank you. And I am gonna want a little baggie of that.
Yeah,
I wanna try it.
I know.
Yeah, because I do take magnesium.
I will save these for the girl.
I take,
Okay.
actually, I take Zymogen's, the,
The Neuromag?
I'm just about out. So I was gonna get some more, but I think I might enjoy the powder.
I know, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I'm thinking,
Like,
you kind of sold me on your little routine there.
Like,
Yeah.
that might be a really. good-
It's nice. I use the little like blend things. I got them on
Uh-huh.
Amazon, and
Yes.
that's usually what I
Yeah. I got all.
start my day with. But
So there's 8 of us, but the 2 missing.
okay, cool. Something great to the little samples that you just got.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave you guys too with Synovix Relief. So Synovix is a whole line that we created. The Synovix Relief, it's not a stress one, but it's another one that I can't stop talking about because it's a replacement for acetaminophen and ibuprofen. So on a chart, especially for what you do here, I mean, even just lifestyle changes, you're a little sore or whatever, you get hurt or whatever.
Oh my goodness.
I'm
I
on it
know.
right now.
I know.
I never take, I don't take anything.
I used to
Because
struggle
of my
with it.
shoulder,
Yes.
they finally said, because I'm having a hard time sleeping, I'm still having problems.
On
So,
a chart,
this
a
is
graph
what you need.
comparing the two, it acts the exact same in the sense of like time and pain lessening. It
Oh my
acts the exact same
God.
as acetaminophen.
Yes.
There's 3 ingredients, and it's all natural, so you don't have like the GI bleeding.
I was gonna say, all of that insults are horrible for the digestive
know.
system.
I don't want to take it.
Yeah.
But
So
I'm,
Synovix
I am
Relief,
waking up.
and it's comparable. I mean, it's comparable to if you were to buy like drug name ibuprofen or something at Walgreens, say. Yeah, it's comparable to that as well.
So this is enough, I can do this tomorrow morning or whatever?
Yeah, just 1 serving size.
Perfect. And I think we do carry this. We do carry this. But I think.
I can
it's-
smell the berry.
Yep.
So I don't know if we
take
have
care of
berry,
Chris
but
and,
it'd be nice if we had berry.
Yeah, I think it's awesome for, like, I always suggest it for kids too. The
Yeah.
Relax Max, I mean, the powder is great for kids too. ADHD, like in kids, having the Relax Max paired with the magnesium, crossing the blood-brain barrier, it's going to make a huge difference in them as well, which I think is awesome. I mean,
Oh, it is.
I was undiagnosed ADHD for most of my life, and
I think it's very under.